night has come, and the land is dark, and in the ocean, like we see. No, I won't be afraid. Hello?
Yeah, done.
Yeah, okay, you're live.
Okay, yeah, I said thanks for having me, and hello to everyone in Belize, in NIMBA, and everyone on the farm, everyone home at this time, everyone that's listening. Thank you for tuning in, and have with me Kawi JJ. We're going to be on tonight to take this time around is going to be different. We're going to take questions from our listeners to make sure we're able to address all of the issues they have. So thank you for having us.
Okay, let's get the ball rolling. When you say it's going to be a bit different, what do you mean?
The last time we were on, we just deliberated. We did not have the interactive approach with the listener. We did not interact with the listeners to take questions. So this time around, we'll allocate time where we're going to take questions from the listeners and be able to address their concerns.
Okay, I get your point. Okay, so Emmerich is in the States with his friend Duke. The both are on the line. They have created interest in Good Shepherd Radio to speak to the people of NIMBA County, especially Berry, with respect to the upcoming political event. And so the guys are all around this evening, and they will expect you to call to ask this just in case you might not understand what we're going to be discussing. They also are going to be providing some clarity as we move on. So when you're ready, you can place your call, and someone got to read it, the decision number, and then people calling, people listening can have the time to call. So Timothy, what's the number?
Okay, thank you, Director. The contact for the radio station is 077162272. We are sorry the long is a bit down, but when it gets better, we'll let you know. But call on 077162272, and you will be live to take part in the show.
Okay, thank you, Timothy. Okay, Duke, you're welcome with Eric. Let's get the ball rolling, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Go
ahead.
We have less than a month to go. Emery, we have less than a month, a little over 1 month to go to the elections. That's going to be around October 10 of this 2023. And then the last time you guys created interest in speaking to our people, pitching some key messages. And of course, this is a continuation of our discussion. And so let's get the ball rolling. What have you guys gathered for us for the past couple of days now?
What we have gathered, first of all, you have to understand the society and understand what's going on as to the people, how the challenges we are faced with in our country, and then especially in NIMBA County. Those are things that we look into with their research, and at the same time seeing where what we're going to explain our platform, the platform of the person we support, what we think that can be of positive news to the county and the people of NIMBA. So it's not only politics, and I keep saying, it's the social, the economic condition, the social conditions. But if you look at politics, right, politics controls almost everything you can think about in our country. Politics going to create. Politics is going to create the policies to run any country, because once you don't have people to represent, the right people to represent and understand those things, it would not be about you. It will be about them. So this time around, we're going to not talk that much. We're going to explain some of those things that's good for the NIMBA, Liberia as a whole. And then if you have questions, you need clarification on some of the areas we're going to touch on, you can call in and ask your question. But I will give Duke the chance to be able to come in and be able to try and speak to our people too.
Okay, Duke, you're welcome.
Hey, Dad, thanks to you guys in studio. How's NIMBA County tonight?
Well, the part of NIMBA we are right now is good, it's calm, but it's just the politics heating up around here. People are moving here and there behind their candidates, and so far so good. We are okay.
That is great. Yes, and that's what we're back on. When I told you the last time we're on air that our message is simple. We see opportunities for the people in Nimba County. We see a county that continues to feel the impacts of an economy that's not functioning. And so our message here is to speak to our ordinary people, our mind part in that go on the farm to work and come back. The ones that are selling crops in the market to be able to send their children to school. Part of what we want to discuss how we move into this election is to let people know that it can no longer be about tribalism. We cannot keep voting for people because we think that from the same country that we're in, or we think that is our brother, our son, or our relative, but we're not examining those people based upon the qualification that they have that can change our life. And so one thing I want to quickly touch on here is the economy. For me, I think it's something that every Liberian needs to listen to. And NIMBA is one area wherein a lot of our people do businesses. Even the farmers, the people who are farming, when they go ahead and they produce, when they bring out the crops, they put it into the market so people can buy from them. And it so happens that somebody who's running Mr. Cummings is a man who understands all of the challenges that our local farmers, our small business owners are facing in the county, in the country overall. So our message is that we need to start looking at some of the suggestions that he's bringing forth that's going to be able to give the people some level of flexibility so that they can make sure that they're making impact on their families and on their children's life because the economy is functioning. One thing here that I want to speak highly of is young people. A lot of our young people are in the local colleges and universities. When you send your children to school, you pay the school fee, they graduate. When they come out of those universities, there's no jobs. And there are no jobs because the people that we've elected based upon tribalism, they have not done a good job to make sure that our children are leaving these universities to come into a functioning private sector that's working and putting them to work. I mean, giving them the jobs that they need to be able to use the newly acquired skills. That's why now voting on October 10th, it has to be about who is more competent, who's more qualified to give these young people the jobs, to give our mom or pa that coming from the farm the kind of business that they need for the crops, and all of those people in the private sector some level of energy, right, that will show that the government means business and leadership too cares about them. So that's the conversation we're going to have, and we want to make sure that in addition to sharing some of those things, we can open up the lines to have our people call in to ask us some questions about our last interview for that we can answer. But finally, Dan, one thing that Mr. Cummings continues to speak about is something called ecotourism. Now, what it is that we see somewhere that Nimba County has got a natural environment, is rich with land, it is a fertile soil. There are a lot of different sceneries and things that you can see in Nimba County that can attract people to come outside, right, to be able to enjoy what Nimba has to offer. We're saying that we will identify several areas across the country. And because Liberia is not blessed with having those 5-star structure, meaning those structures that you see in other countries, we can start from somewhere using our natural environment, right, our land, to be able to attract investors and people to come into these counties that we have discovered as economic or ecotourism oasis, we call them, right? So they can be able to start putting some monies into our economy. All of those things can be done based upon strategies, based upon taking advantage of, all of the opportunities our local governments have, our communities have to be able to use. For instance, if you look at somewhere LeBon County, right, they got the Patawi waterfalls. Other counties got some areas of attraction. Same with Nimba County. I know a lot of people building hotels in Nimba County, and a lot of things, a lot of attractions in Nimba County that investors can find of interest and to be able to invest in the local economy. So Mr. Cummings is offering that kind of a mindset when it comes to change. How can we see potential in places like NIMBA, in places like Bong, in places like Grand Kipa County, in places like Grand Bassa County, and to be able to build the kind of movement that we need, the structures that we need temporarily to give some kind of economic activity. And that's what we want to do, empower the people by making sure the communities are strengthened, looking at the opportunities that exist for small businesses and giving them all of the tools and the resources needed so that the children can get back to work outside of government jobs.
Okay, thank you very much. A lot of people, thousands of people from NIMBA County, from Berge are listening to you right now, and I gave you the numbers to call on the basement. Timothy is working at the basement. But if you're just listening, calling 808 because Timothy is trying to connect the basement here. I'm quite sure Jacob Mamandi Denwa is also listening. Mr. Moses Duo, I'm sure you also be listening. Reverend Titi later. Those are people your colleague Emery mentioned the last time that he knew every one of them very personally before he left from here. And Reverend Lita, who is the Chief Executive Officer for the But you probably going to be, I'm not on the number that I'm using right now because I'm in communication with people. And also, Emery, that's what Duke have said. I hope you guys will not forget our policies here that have to do with go straight to preach the candidate of your choice if that's what you intend to do. There's no insult, there's no attacking political party or opposition. And so it's a strict rule that we have here. I'm hoping that you guys will take it into serious consideration. We understand all these things loud and clearly, but we will remember 2017 when Cummings paid the wild fee for schools across NIMBA. But I'm not too sure if he has ever returned with another gesture. Of course, he might have those things in the pipeline. But let's take the issue of agriculture. It's a very difficult thing for agriculturalists and farmers in Liberia, especially people in NIMBA County. There's no room, there's nowhere to carry the goods from the farm to the market. And we haven't seen someone engaging actually into the agricultural sector where farmers will be able to benefit. So what's your idea on that?
Yeah, Dan, thank you for the question. You see, I'm going to be more practical because I understand the issue in NIMBA, especially in the Berge area. Once upon a time, I was on pickup with my uncle who used to buy cocoa and coffee and just take it to the Ivory Coast for little or nothing. We got exploited for our products that we work hard for. So with that in mind, agriculture is a very, very important area in our country. But have we realized any gains on the hard work of our people? No, we have not. I've been there, okay, buying cocoa, waking up in the morning, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, going to the different towns, buying cocoa with my uncle or Moses Duo. And it wasn't easy, right? To even break even. That is to say, money you spend on gas, money you spend on repairs, the roads were bad. But now we are grateful that the roads are being developed. And let us not mistake this whole development of roads and people trying to own it. The reason why you see the coastal highway being done today, I would like for everybody to go and read about this. This is not something that any government can take pride in and say, we brought roads in the country. The United Nations, Africa been going through poverty for a long time. The United Nations got this project to connect all of Africa for people to trade from one country to the other. So when you see the highway over there, call it the Transatlantic Highway. The Transatlantic Highway is a project by the United Nations. It's a project by the United Nations, the African Development Bank, the African Union. And the road you're seeing over there today, it's not only in Liberia, it's the whole of Africa that's being connected. So when we find people who don't inform our people and lie to them and say they don't want secure budget for that road, I will tell you, go back and read and research about the road. But good thing we are having Africa being connected now. This is how we're going to move our country forward to get the worth for our produce. Our people, they took advantage of our people because they're poor. They don't have the means to transport their goods. But once you have the means to transport your goods where the roads are good, you can tell people to pay for the price, the worth of your commodity. Then we didn't have a choice. People had to feed their children. So this is the plan. When companies talk about eco tourism, talk about agriculture, it's knowing the worth of your goods, and then government going to subsidize mechanized farming. They're going to do mechanized farming. That is to say, when you can go to the farm and use your hands, your bare hands, and produce by right, if you have machines and so to help you, you should do by far more than what you are doing with your bare hands, that you can be able to take some of the goods. Now we go to Guinea, even for pepper, for other little things, produce. We go to Guinea, Ivory Coast, and other places to get those things. When we have a good soil, one of the best soil you find in the world is in Liberia. Our soil is so rich. But how have we maximized? How have we improved our conditions? How have we been able to leverage ourselves to take advantage of the good things we've had? It's because of bad governance. Bad governance is the only reason why Liberia is poor. If you have good governance, where you have a leader with integrity, a leader who understands the enormity of our issue, a leader who understands that if a person who steals going to be put in jail or going to go to court and go to jail, all of those things are things that can move a country forward. There's no country that can move forward by the stroke of a pen. There's no country that can move forward by preaching tribalism. There's no country that can move forward by you insulting each other and not discussing on an intellectual basis as to how to move the country forward. Look, to move a country forward, you have to have the bright brains in the right place to be able to give ideas, to be able to think things through, to be able to look at the tax structure, to be able to revamp the marketing association, the agricultural sector, to be able to do those things. That's the only way you can move our country forward. And when you look at Mr. Cummings, he brings something that's so unique that his experience from the business sector, managing large enterprises budget, Liberia with just 5 million. Why can't we do it? The only reason why we can't do it, because we have been doing the same old thing and then getting the same old results and then blaming ourselves, but we cannot take the initiative to say, let me close my eyes and do what's right for once.
And you know, Dan, are you there? You hearing me too?
Yeah.
Yes. You know, Emmerich made a brilliant point. And let me just add on to what he said. You know, I'm glad you mentioned agriculture. Agriculture can be a key foundation to creating a vibrant private sector and creating jobs in Liberia. Actually, part of Mr. Cummings' plan, agriculture plays a major part when it comes to putting people back to work. And I will tell you quickly, but I want you to listening to something very important that I believe that the people of NIMBA County need to pay attention to. So before I say this, if you're listening in the radio, I want you to have an open mind, listening to my argument, listening to the truth in my voice, and render your own judgment. The question we should be asking, why is it that NIMBA County have not benefited to the extent when it comes to agriculture? When we ask that question, then we start looking for those people who were in charge. Let me remind the people of NIMBA County today, when Samuel Doe brought the coup in Liberia, and he executed those people, he said, for corruption. Doe said he was supposed to make the economy better. And Doe said that going back to the soil, agriculture should have been the route to create job opportunities. Something the people of NIMBA County will understand, because a lot of our people are involved in farming. Why is it NIMBA County did not get the kind of benefit? Yes, the truth. The man that was in charge of those agricultural revolution that deprived the people of NIMBA County from agriculture was Joseph Boyka. Joseph Boyka was in charge of the Liberian Produce Marketing Corporation. Joseph Boyka was in charge of the Ministry of Agriculture. The United States government gave the Doe administration $480 million to invest in agriculture, in which NIMBA County should have been the recipient of those dollars. The farmers in NIMBA should have benefited from those money to the Liberian Produce Marketing Corporation. Okay?
Yeah. Emma, can you call Timothy's number? I'm having some sort of a structure on my phone here.
Yeah.
So can you call Timothy's number? Timothy is right there with me. I'm going to bring it up.
Right, let me call him right now.
All right, perfect.
Right now.
So we're breaking in a little bit. Let's go ahead and switch to the other line here. Just switching. All right, so we're having low studio issue. This is a great conversation. If you're just following, continue to share the link. We're on Radio Shepherd in NIMBA County, and we're discussing all of the things that needs to be discussed as we move into the election. We're in week 2 of our daily podcast on Radio Shepherd in NIMBA County, where we're going to be discussing all of those different things that the Liberian people, or should know moving into election. And I was in the process of answering the question about agriculture that the guy in studio asked. And so we're waiting to see how best we can reconnect to the other number to be able to carry this light. But these are the conversations that we need to have. And we're all about the issues. We're all about those things that the voters need to hear. And so today is all about agriculture, and probably a little bit will take off from those in studio. But, I was making a point, a very critical point that I think the people need to understand and learn as to why they're having these issues, who were responsible, that some of these people who are coming back today don't need to be the messengers, right? Because they have been part of the problem for a long time. So let's see here how we can, all right, they're calling back. Let's see how we can click over here real quick. And then part. Yes, hello. Can you hear me? All right, hold on. Okay. All right. So while we're waiting, so what's happening is the signal in that part of NIMBA is a little difficult. We tried getting the team through on the podcast here, but we're having some kind of challenges, and we'll come back here as soon as we get reconnected to the number. So the truth here is, when we talk about agriculture in NIMBA County, we see that today places like NIMBA have not gotten the fair share of the level of progress that we've seen that we should have seen in the agricultural sector, because of all of these missteps, all of these errors, all of these things that have happened by people who are presenting. Let me go ahead and click. Hello, you there?
Yeah, Calvin.
Yes.
Okay. So.
Okay. Yes. Timothy, can you hear us? Yes.
For certain thing, other allocation, whatever. That's where I remember his stuff.
Absolutely. So we were talking about the issue of agriculture and Mr. Cummings' vision, but I needed to set the foundation of the issue, right? The problems, and then moving into the solution. So $480 million was actually allocated to the Liberian Produce Marketing Corporation and the Ministry of Agriculture for farmers, right? To be able to grow the agricultural sector, in which places like NIMBA, you talk about the cocoa that Emmerich mentioned, was supposed to be able to benefit from those monies and turn those industries into larger ones to create jobs. The people who were responsible for taking that money, there's a U.S. government document today from the office of the late Senator Ted Kennedy from Boston, Massachusetts, that said that money was misused, misappropriated by the people who were in charge. And then you know who was in charge of the Ministry of Agriculture in LPMC during that period? It was Joseph Yuma Boyka. It was Joseph Yuma Boyka. The document's there. Don't take my word for it. Please, my people, go read. The people of NIMBA are very educated. Go look up a document called the PL 480 and look at the reviews. They deprived the people of NIMBA County from agricultural help because they embezzled that money. $480 million went to waste from those people. Today, we have our mind and our power that are still struggling in the farming sector in NIMBA County because these people did not give them the resources that they were supposed to give to them. That's why we have agricultural issue. Mr. Cummings said his vision for the agricultural sector is going to be something that considers every Liberian, which includes our people in NIMBA County. So we're estimating that annually, meaning yearly, we want to create 100,000 jobs across the country. And what's going to contribute towards the job growth would be agriculture. We're projecting, as a rough estimate, we can do annually about 83,500 jobs potentially in the agriculture sector. We can cultivate lands, look at rice production, cassava production, the coffee, the cocoa, all of those things. We can also move to a process wherein we are producing, we're processing, we're packaging, we're marketing, and we're transporting. The reason why that is very important, then, you send your child to school. These children go to universities. They get degrees in marketing. They get degrees in businesses. All of those things create jobs for these children in the private sector. So that means your children get to work because of the agriculture sector. They get to use their education because of growth in the agriculture sector. We're looking at fishing, processes, marketing, packaging, all of those things. As part of Mr. Cummings' job growth strategy, agriculture plays a major part. And we believe that we can do it because some of the missteps, some of the reason why our people in NIMBA County have not gotten the type of resources today is because of those things that have happened in the past. And so that's what we're going to do, focus on agriculture, but make sure we're using a bottom-up approach wherein the people are feeling the impacts of the government through the resources that's given to them to be able to empower those various sectors and put our people back to work.
Now, so I heard you say that that's what we are going to do. When you say we are going to do, you're referring to you and who are you referring to as we are going to do?
Thank you. I'm talking about the collaborating political parties, the CPP, Alexander Cummings and Charlene Brumskin. They will be on the ballot. He's the only person who comes with the skill set that's needed to drive economic success and fix the agriculture sector and make sure that our people in NIMBA are experiencing positive change because of sound leadership.
And Dan, if Mr. Cummings and Ms. Charlene Brumskin did not make sense, real for some of the things our parents in Copley and so sent us to learn to become educated, if it did not make sense, I would say I will have no reason to support them. The only reason why I'm supporting them is simple. It makes sense to transform the country. It makes sense to change things around. It makes sense where when you work hard, you see the results. Most of our mothers, they have worked so hard for over 20, 30, 40 years, but the market stay the same, not growing. The weather market is still the same. The land shop they have stay the same. That's not logical. It does not make sense anywhere where people work hard. When people work hard, you want to see results. You want to see growth. That's the essence of working hard. And that's the reason why with them, I see a transformation that will bring a complete change, complete sense to the whole discussion of politics, administration, management in our country.
Right. And then we got a question for you. What are they waiting for before they can make a hand mark across the country? Are they waiting to become elected before they start doing what they're supposed to do, or they have some hand marks in terms of agriculture across the country? Because we are not just specific on NIMBA or Beligan.
This is the whole thing about business. This is the whole thing about investment I want our people to know. No one in life going to invest only because he or she go to invest. People invest and return on their investment. When they say return is to make profit, in the layman term, to make profit. When you put in $5, at least you won't make $6 or $6.50 or $5.50. So if the conditions in our country not favorable for investment, how many people you think that have put money into businesses and did not succeed? So many of them. The reason why they have not succeeded is because the environment is not good. The environment, for instance, if you want to go and buy goods to the Ivory Coast, to Guinea, sometimes you think you're going to make profit, right? You expect to make profit. But when you calculate the amount you're going to see yourself, the transportation, because the gas price so high, the road conditions, all those things calculated, you come back. So our people are doing hand to mouth, the one we call hand to mouth. Now all they do, hand to mouth, hand to mouth, hand to mouth. Most of our business over there, hand to mouth. So when you ask the question, if you look at BWR, when BWR was struggling for electricity, right? Mr. Cummings came in, he bought a 350 kVA generator. When you look at current hospital in Zaza, when the hospital had no lights, people were leaving and the hospital was to go away completely because they did not have the money to spend and keep the hospital running. Mr. Cummings came in, he resuscitated our hospital. When you look at COVID, I can start naming you and start naming you from one thing to the other that he's done as an individual, as a private citizen. Right? Even during COVID, during the Ebola crisis, I was in Liberia. Who flew in with millions of dollars, worth of goods was Mr. Cummings. So Mr. Cummings, it's not just now we're talking about Mr. Cummings. It's not because Mr. Cummings is trying to run for the presidency as people try to politicize the issue. It's because Mr. Cummings, once in life, you have learned that in order for you to give back, you have to solidify, you have to be strong as a foundation. You can't give back when you're not strong as a foundation. So Mr. Cummings wanted to be at a place where when he's giving back, it will impact his giving in a sense of it shaking him. This is where Mr. Cummings is at right now. When people start asking, what has he done? What has he done? I can start to name you those things that Mr. Cummings has done as a private person. He's not just waiting for the presidency. In fact, 2017, people said Mr. Cummings was going to leave the country as other politicians have done, right? Other politicians, right after 2017 or after the election, when they don't win, you don't see them anymore. Mr. Cummings is the only person who's been around since before 2017, after 2017, and he's still around today. Mr. Cummings. So it shows that he has a heart for the country. I don't think Mr. Cummings will just go away because you don't support him. People have not supported Mr. Cummings, but Mr. Cummings still supports Liberians, small businesses, market women. Too many market women can attest that Mr. Cummings been there. A young musician quite recently in Monrovia, we did not even know that Mr. Cummings had given him $6,000. Okay, to his life in the musical industry. He attested, nobody asked him. He came on and said, Mr. Cummings did not know him and gave him $6,000. Another group, his brother in Ganta, and Mr. Cummings gave them $10,000, the farming business over there. They in Ganta. Mr. Cummings gave them $10,000 to start their farming business. They got one of the biggest farms you find in Ganta area. Mr. Cummings is not related to them, but when he sees good in people, he sees honesty, he sees hard work, he helps.
Okay, thank you so much, Timothy. You got a question?
Yeah. Firstly, I want to say thanks to our guest from the United States. My attention has been drawn to the vast running mate. Her name is familiar, and that has to do with the brown skin. But she, in person, what has been her contribution to Liberia? Because she just showed up quite recently on the Liberian political scene.
that will throw a little light on that, then Duke can come in. You see, Charlene has always operated in her own space. Great question. In her own space of helping people. She got scholarship programs in the country. Charlene has always helped the government in drafting policies. That's her profession. She's a lawyer. She's helped the government, but this is not her job to force the government to enforce those policies and so. So Charlene, she's always been around. And people think that, yeah, it's good to have, the name Bronski. And people think that Charlene is running on her father's name. No. Charlene established her own law practice away from her father's. She did not take that road to say, I'm going to own my father's property. She created her own law practice that's today running in the country and helping in a resourceful way to draft policies, to help our lawmakers. All of those things are things that Charlene been doing. So Charlene understands the intricacies of our issue. Charlene understands the laws, how to make the law is her area, how to make laws. And this is where, Charlene going to compliment Mr. Cummings to strengthen the labor department, that you see our people are abused on a daily basis. In fact, some of our people that work over there, they work for nothing. It's almost like slavery. It's almost like the modern slavery. Our people are still slaves in their own home, in their own country. That's not right. That shouldn't be happening. In Monrovia and in other places, when the Lebanese men or the Indian men, they abuse our people, no one to stand for them. Because Charlene is from that background, where she came from nowhere and became somebody, she'll be able to stand with the common people. We cannot keep embracing this thing they call poverty, and we think that anybody who talks about poverty, we support that person, because no, Charlie came from the same background as some of us came from. We came from nowhere, some of our income, all in the shop, that the GB shop, and who didn't know all that. Okay, so today we're not no different for anybody in conflict. We're not no different for anybody in conflict. The position I'm in today, anybody in conflict can be in that position there. Anybody.
Okay. Thank you very much. We will also want to have very few questions that we intend to ask Mr. Cummings, if possible, and Charlie Bronsky. So we will want you to do the connection, because the people of Liberia want to know them. We want to hear from them themselves. And as you were speaking on Good Shepherd Radio, they have a very wide coverage in NIMBA County. It will be a pleasure for them to appear to speak to the people of NIMBA, where we'll be able to question them, if possible, bring them to the studio, and then have some studio guests to ask them a few questions, so that they themselves can be able to explain those beautiful things that you've been saying. But, in this political season, it might appear ears of other people, like because all these guys they want to push Cummings, so they're in the state. So Cummings is doing XYZ. They have the connection with Cummings, and so that's why. Because every good thing you have been saying here are not things we have ever heard in our ears in Liberia here. We have not even heard that from Charlie and of course Mr. Cummings himself. But what we do know that we can attest to is that a couple of years ago back, he did help the education sector by providing the fees for students across the country. I'm aware of maybe other people say it happen in other countries as well. And so we want they themselves, you guys are doing well, but we want you to do the connection so that we get in touch with they themselves too, and then they can push down.
And you see, Dan or Timothy, definitely, I think it will be an opportunity for the people at NIMBA to continue here. But, just to add on that, Mr. Cummings has been very heavily involved in NIMBA. He has contributed to the university, the construction of, I believe there's an engineering school as well that he provided some money for, I believe by about, $50,000 or so. In addition to that, he's been very involved with helping students. We talk about the scholarships, the monies that you talk about as well. So NIMBA County is an area that Mr. Cummings, over the years have been heavily invested in, and his work throughout that county continues to speak for itself as well. In addition to that, Charlene is also a daughter of NIMBA. People forget that, but she's actually a daughter of NIMBA. But on the national stage, she has actually fought, when it comes to a lot of women issues in that country. A smart a woman, but somebody who understands that, when it comes to the justice system, the legal system, that the kind of reforms that we need so that the ordinary people can be impacted. This is the skill set that she brings and the value that she brings, to the CPP ticket as well. But as you rightfully stated, it will also be a great opportunity to have them on the radio station talking. I'm pretty sure that will eventually be a possibility, but we're looking forward to that. But overall, I think Mr. Cummings, has been invested in Nimba County. He has made a lot of investment across the county. The people in Nimba knows him very well.
Okay, thank you very much. And another point that I want you to elaborate on is, as a leader, especially if you want to be a leader of the people, you actually have to come around, familiarize yourself with the people. And so far, one information we've gathered is Mr. Cummings has been to NIMBA, but mostly in the Ganta area, and has not been able to come into to other districts in other parts of the county. And in fact, following other local areas, especially the urban area in Liberia. So, but this is the political campaign of Liberia is opening. Do you think, is there any plan for Mr. Cummings to come to NIMBA, and not just Ganta, but to other parts of NIMBA?
All right, because I will say this, because I am from over there, okay? It's my duty now. Mr. Cummings been all around it. But it's my duty to throw emphasis on Berege, all right? It's my duty to throw emphasis on Berege because I support him. And one thing I like about Mr. Cummings, Mr. Cummings, a leader, he sees reasons to think things through and agree. Okay, Berege is highly populated. I'm from Berege, so I'm going to be a part of it to talk to him, to tell him to come over. And he's going to have no problem with it. He's been all around there, but maybe people have not seen him. Maybe when he was there, people did not see him. But this time around, we'll throw emphasis on it where he will come and hang out with you guys in Berege, because I know people in Berege, they love a good leader. I know our people, they are smart. Our people, this is what they do to our people, right? They think our people are just tribalistic. No, but once our people see good reason to support you and they see that you're capable of doing something for them, they support you. So I don't underestimate the power of our people. I don't underestimate the intelligence of our people in Berege, the whole Berege area. That's the reason why I see some of us decided to come on to talk to them directly. Because they will be like, oh, well, Emmerich supposed to come to us and talk, but why he didn't say anything? And Mr. Cummings will be blaming me tomorrow and say, but Emmerich, these are your people. You did not stand up for them. So that's the reason why you see someone like me standing up now. Because if I don't speak, it's never late. If I don't speak now, people will say, oh, he did not come to us. He had this fine candidate, this good candidate who's going to bring all the good things to us. He said nothing. So there where we are now, I will reach out to them. And I'm sure Mr. Cummings is going to pay a visit over there. So I hope you guys get ready, but they get to receive Mr. Cummings as your son. Okay? Mr. Cummings said got NIMBA background too. Yeah. Charlene was born in Yegepa. Mr. Cummings, he got NIMBA background in Tabata. So that your son, you're embracing too. Okay?
Okay, it's good. But you are sounding quite a bit louder, more than the public relation officer.
So, Dan, are you saying we're doing a good job here today?
From Mr. Cummings. So we the people, yes, that's, the people of NIMBA County are generous people. The people of, especially people from the down settlement. Let's be quite frank with that. They are generous people. They host everyone. But we are having a problem. We have seen what happened in time past. The people, especially of NIMBA County, will always want someone to devote a lot of time with them, let them get to know you better, than coming at some close point in time. And then it appears to people that, because they say election coming next month or tomorrow, and they coming, and then people have that kind of problem. And you have laid some beautiful emphasis. We like that. we wish the people, its public relation officers in NIMBA, if there's anyone, if in Berega, will also have the chance to come to add to what you are saying, because let me very frank, you are the very first person to appear on radio here in Berega to preach about comments. So that's something that's very amazing, and you got to do your own homework and see who is to do what. And then we'll also get to know comments better from the beautiful background that you have read. I'm quite sure the people of this district will be happy to see him. So how soon we hope to see comments coming into NIMBA? And of course, our concern is how whether get statutory districts.
Yeah. So then I just got a text on that part, by the way. So he will be heading there in the next few weeks. And so you should expect him in NIMBA County in the next few weeks. Now, Emmerich can probably reach out on the back end to see specifically, if he, would definitely be in that region. But he's heading to NIMBA in the next few weeks. I just received that message, by the way, and he's looking forward to engaging the people in NIMBA County as well. But one important part, then, I want to say is that this is about Liberia, and I think Emmerich made that emphasis earlier. At the end of the day, at times we don't really need, Mr. Cummings specifically. Liberians who want to see a better country can continue to share this message, but better believe to the people of NIMBA that Mr. Cummings sees value in NIMBA County, and he will be in NIMBA County in the next few weeks.
Okay, let me ask you guys about one question. When you do your own analysis or you do fact checking, what do you think was responsible for his losing the Bond election? What do you think was responsible for that?
I mean, my opinion, people, when you listen to people, because I always go by the people, the wish of the people, right? People say, oh, we don't know him, we don't know him. So we try to not, because when people say we don't know him, this is our people. I'm a Liberian. I'm from the same Liberia. When people say we don't know him, we don't know him, most cases our people looking at small thing. And we have to pass that stage. Because when I say, oh, man, I know you, come to my office. It simply means you want me to deal with you one-on-one, right? That's the concept.
Yeah.
Most people. But on a general, level, people complain that they don't know him. But then I put the responsibility on us too, on me as a person. Just how Mr. Cummings did not just walk to me, because it's impossible. We have to be realistic. It's impossible for any leader, even a Jeremiah or the George Weah, that some people voted for over there. That they heard about George Weah playing football. Some of them have not even seen George Weah play football. They have not even laid eyes on George Weah. So I'm saying this to say that research, because of the lack of education in our culture, our society, in our country, we don't have the means to go and research. In this country, I don't have to see Joe Biden or Trump to read and know what they're going to do. I have to go and research, because it's impossible for anybody to get cover and touch everyone and see everyone. It's impossible. Even the people in Grand Crew, some of them have not seen George Weah. But my point there is, because of the country, the system we are in, we can't take our time. Those of us that are even educated, we don't even take our time to go and research a person. Look, a person's background going to speak as to what the person going to do tomorrow. Most cases, if a person was criminal, say he was 15-year-old, 14-year-old, the likelihood of that person being criminal when they're adult is high, very, very high. If a person had been well-disciplined with integrity and so from small, the likelihood of that person being disciplined with integrity and so when he's an adult is high. So we have to look at these things. Look at the person's life, how they grew up, where they grew up. Those are some of the things, information we get. And then you can make an informed decision based on the history, the background of a person. If the person worked before, they were not stealing the company gasoline and fuel, yeah, you say that person is a good person. But if you found somebody who used to steal gas and fuel, then you say you made a person senator or representative, you think the local people, the hospital in Compton that will be receiving fuel? The hospital will be down. No fuel will be there because the senator or the representative or the mayor used to steal gas and fuel when he was small. So you go give him the opportunity. You wouldn't help him mow the field. You will take that gas and see what the hospital is supposed to be using. Some of the schools, they got nice schools, I believe, income, they're supposed to have lights. They don't even have lights for the people to go to school in the night. Those things will not reach to the people because you pick a leader who's already looking for opportunity and you gave him the opportunity to do worse.
And then if I can add on, please, when Mr. Cummings came in 2017, I think it was at the latter end of that entire process. However, I think going forward, the conversation should not be about who knows who only, or it should not be about who's my tribal man, right? It has to be based upon deliverables. It has to be based upon the substance, right? Who is more qualified to govern us? Who can put food on our table? Who can make sure that our children will get jobs? The farming what are doing and coming late in the night. Who will help me to be able to grow my farm, to be able to market my produce so I can get the right customers? I think when we vote based upon those issues, then we'll see the kind of change. And you know what? To support that claim, Dan, how long has it been that we've been talking about the same thing, government issues in Liberia? Why are we continuing to talk about those things? Because the way in which we voted in the past, it has not worked for us. The people that we've elected into position because of tribalism, because of connection, because of who know you, it has not changed Liberia. So we need to change that way of thinking and make sure we're electing people based upon substance, based upon what they bring to the table, and how they can change our individual lives based upon policies that they're implementing, that can impact NIMBA County. And NIMBA County is a leader county. What I mean by that, NIMBA County is a county that sets the stage for other people to follow. And NIMBA should be at the forefront of making sure we're changing the way in which people are voting, because the people of NIMBA need to start thinking about how they can elect leaders based upon the substance, based upon the qualification, versus who think that they're more popular or who think that they're our tribal man.
Okay, gentlemen, it's a nice time having the both of you online. We're enjoying the discussion. I also follow up. We're getting to understand what you guys stand for, but we also hope to see the both of you right start Mr. Cummings, if he's coming to NIMBA especially, and where we can all come back to sit in this little studio. That we're hoping that you also give us some helping hand to make it look much better, so that we can also feel the part of what you have felt from Mr. Cummings. We have a minute after 8 o'clock here. We are having the down people at the back. Let's get some further information from you before we usher them in.
Yeah, we're trying to not go into too much to take phone calls from the listeners. That's not it's a good delay. Yeah, that's not the case today. So I hope you'll be able to still address or get some of those questions that you can be able to relay to us for us to answer, because we like feedbacks. We like to give feedback based on the concerns of our people. Those are our people. We don't want them to be hanging and we just come and talk. We want to be realistic, transparent, and truthful. So, but I would say thanks for having us. It was a great show, great questions, and you guys were great. You guys are all professional people. And we say thank you so much for having us, okay? But we hope to be back on Saturday. And I will just let Duke to close out.
Yeah.
And then we can be able to close out the show.
Yeah. Duke, before Duke close up, what's happening right now is that you see the people we interact with here when they are in line with what you're saying, when you are saying just maybe what they want to hear, they don't need to ask questions. They rely on us to ask this question and see them nodding their heads. Good question, yes, and what we want to hear, and then after the talk show, you see they be telling you, thank you ever so much, we enjoy the interview, and people got to recharge to put money on phone before you call, and so at some point in time, people send text messages. That's the most easier way to do that, because just as you have said it, our poverty is not good. That's what suffering us here, and so We show that the people are enjoying what you are saying. Like we're going to mention a Saturday where we'll keep them informed that you guys will be around on Saturday to talk more. If anybody has a chance now, they can call, but I'm quite sure there are a lot of constraints when it comes to this recharging stuff. So you can help with those phones, and then we'll have a base phone here where it will be free line, and then our people will have the access to talk to you some point in time.
Thank you, Dan. And let me just close up by saying, first and foremost, I want to acknowledge, the work that you guys do. I think it's important to be thankful that there are opportunities and committed people like you that can give all of us the chance to be able to speak to the hearts and minds of the Liberian people. When we do this, it's not solely because of the political affiliations. It's not because we want to come and just bash people. But we see there's been a consistent problem in Liberia. And those problems have actually manifested itself in a way wherein our people, as you mentioned, poverty is not good. It has kept our people, impoverished. Today in Liberia, Liberia is still considered one of the worst, poorest country, or because of poor leadership. So, as part of my closing statement, I want to remind the people of NIMBA County that when you're voting, make sure that you're voting for people who will be able to address those issues that you're facing. The days of voting people because of tribalism, because of sectionalism, because that my past son or my mom's son or they may have my countryman, those things no longer exist. The only way we can change your life, the only way you can change Liberia is to make sure that we're putting in leaders who can help us. And in the case of Mr. Cummings and the issue of agriculture, something that's familiar to the people of Nimba County, we believe that he has all of the policies to be able to put farmers in a position wherein they'll be able to sell the crops for people to buy. For your children who are going to university and that will be graduating from university, even trade school, that they will come into an economy that will give them jobs, that will give them opportunities, that they can go to the banks and be able to get loans and monies to be able to start up a small business. That's the Liberia that we want to see, something that provides equality for every Liberian, not based upon our tribal affiliation, but based upon the fact that we're all Liberians and we need to reap the benefits of our country. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll continue to have this conversation with the people of Nimba County. It is my honor to always speak, and anything that we can do to continue to help our people, to continue to speak to the hearts, kindly let us know as well. Thank you.
Okay, I think we are having, good evening. You want to speak to the discussion? Okay, luckily we are almost over, but someone is on the line who wants to ask a question. Please, we have just one more meeting to be walking out of the studio. Your name, where you come from? Okay, yeah. What's your contribution to the discussion? Okay, thank you very much, Duke and Avery. You heard a guy saying, you guys are saying those things very sharply because you're not on the ground to know the adversity, the difficulties, poverty they are going through here, and so they are on the ground. They know who best suits their desire, a reason why they got to do what they are doing. But my message I want you to take to Cummings and tell Cummings we are going deep into the campaign process and the period, and we haven't seen him and we haven't heard from him. Besides Duke and Emery.
Right. So can I just? It's going to be less than 30 seconds. If we all saying that we all on the ground, first of all, it's an assumption that we don't know what's happening on the ground. That's an assumption. He doesn't know how many times that I have been back home or I'm in touch with everybody. Another thing, if we know how to do it correctly, why are we here today with this whole power struggle and trying to elect the right person if we know how to do it? That's another question for him. So it simply means there's a problem. The problem there, we have always done something and we come back to think that we did it the right way, but to realize that it wasn't done the right way, then the next time we are struggling to find the right leader. So if it's that easy to find the right leader, or if we have always done it the right way, we won't be here at this time talking on air. we'll all be happy because we want a better Liberia. Some of us right now, we're not politicians. We want a better Liberia. If you find somebody who's better than Cummings or who can do the job, that will be a plus for some of us that started doing business in Liberia. We'll be happy. We want a better country. Even Mr. Cummings wants a better country. He will be so happy to have someone who can be able to move the country in the right direction.
Yeah. And
okay, thank you guys. Okay, thank you guys ever so much for taking up your precious time to recharge and to appear on Good Shepherd Radio. You have been live and everyone is following, but unfortunately, like we said, people need some means in their phone, some units in their phone so that they can make the contribution. But thank you to the guy who called and the first and the last person who made his contribution here. We hope you call again. If we have the time, by Saturday, we're going to be here, and we'll keep informing you to recharge your phone and make all necessary inquiries to hear from Emery and Duke from the United States of America. Thanks for talking to us. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Timothy and Dan. I appreciate all of you. All right, my people, I think it was a great interview. We'll do more of these here and, continue to speak to the hearts and minds of our people. Let me say this to you all. We are trying our best. We're really doing the things. We're taking the initiative, right, to continue to speak to those issues, right? So all of these things we're doing is not sponsored by political parties, individual initiatives, right? Doing the little that we can to be able to add our collective voices. So let's continue to do this in whatever way, you see fit, because we have to, help this man, help Mr. Cummings, help, the Liberian people. And one other thing here, sometimes when you're on these calls, when you're doing these shows and stuff, look, Liberia is a very complex society. Liberians are, right? We trust our judgment. We trust our messages. We trust our team. And y'all hear me sometimes when I'm on these shows, I have people in the back end that are sending information back and forth. You saw my quick response in terms of when Mr. Cummings will be in NIMBA County. Those things come from places that we trust. And so the things that we do, we have a team in place that's listening and that will guide us in the right way. So don't ever feel that we're talking and we're just alone. We have a whole process behind, and we trust that process. So on that note, thank you. Thanks, Roberta. Thanks, Wilfred. Thanks, Elizabeth, Peter. I see my man Ben Sauer here, my brother Matilda, Word, Elizabeth Bowen. I see you, my man Alfonso Tilly. Appreciate all of you. Thanks to all of you for helping us to continue to push the message of Mr. Cummings. I'll see you later on the closing argument. Y'all have a good day. Thank you. Bye.